Push the shins down into the earth to effortlessly float up into tabletop position. And then bring a little extra weight into the pinky side of the hands. Bend the elbows. Imagine you're doing a gentle karate chop into your blanket. And so the pinky side chops down. And then keep that connection as you bring just the fingertips and the thumb down. The middle knuckles stay light. Try that same thing with the other hand. Elbows bend. The hands might need to walk a little closer to you, and let the arms get springy. Bend and extend the elbows a couple of times and allow the hands to naturally be where they land without micromanaging them. Imagine you're jumping with the hands. If it feels safe, you can catch a little air. Nice. Yeah, if you're enjoying this, you can stay really low. You can go high. You can even go from side to side. Just make sure wrists, elbows, shoulders all feel spacious. You want your landing to be weightless, like you're doing yoga in the space station. And they turned off the like gravity simulation. And find your way back to center. Pause there. Shift a little extra weight into the right hand, but keep it soft, just like we practiced. So there's more weight on the pinky side, middle knuckles lift. And we'll go into a familiar shape of thread the needle, gently floating the left hand up and then threading it through just a little bit. And then we'll do my favorite variation of this, which I call weightless. Thread the needle, come onto the right fingertips, and notice how your very intelligent core has to support you a lot more when you're not pushing weight down into the right hand. So take a few of these spiraling movements with as minimal weight in the right hand as possible. If you want, as the left hand reaches up, you can float up and become very spacious. Oh, so beautiful. Take a few of these at your own pace. And if you feel that moment of exaltation at the top, you can pause and let the heart open, offer some gratitude up to Babaji and Faith and all your Ishta Devis. Start to connect with the breath. Let's all try moving a little slower, which actually takes more strength. Maybe you can feel the nuance of those deeper muscles turning on to allow you the finesse of this movement. And no, you can pause at any time. Some constitutions prefer more stillness. That's absolutely fine. No judgment. The next time the left hand starts to thread through, give yourself the space to lower the left shoulder, only if that's comfortable. The right hand can stretch forward and play with swaying the hips a little bit, wagging the tail. If you can't wag the tail here, it's a sign that you've probably gone too far into the twist. You always want to feel like there's space to explore. And if there's a sense of limitation or rigidity, it means back up, come out of the movement a little bit, find a spacious place. Drag the right hand back, push into it to return to table, and then allow the hands to slide forward, hips to heels melt the forehead or any comfortable pause point. Turn the palms face up in a gesture of reception and try to let go of control of your physical body. Let go of the thoughts in the mind. And let yourself be open to receiving grace. Feel the breath without altering it. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So press down into the shins, gently float up. Couple of options here. We can do more of our hand jumps. If you had enough of that, you can go into the familiar pattern of cat and cow, but move 3 times as slow as you're used to moving if you're doing cat and cow. See how light you can get here, almost as if you don't have a physical body and you're just energy traveling through space. And take a couple more breaths and we'll all meet in table. And heading into the second side of thread the needle, right hand floats and then thread it through. Stay soft on the left hand and then start to come onto the left fingertips and notice how this changes what's awake in the body around the spine. Don't worry about how far you go. In fact, less is more, right? You don't want to feel any tightness or resistance. You just want to move as fluidly as possible, which can be humbling. Start to explore coming up higher if the body would enjoy that, but you don't have to. And if you are coming up higher and the hands are opening, notice if there's that opportunity for the heart to open and become spacious. You can pause at any time. Take a couple of more, and then we'll head into the classic thread the needle, right hand heading through, left hand doing whatever is comfortable. Enjoy the stillness of it, or take a little wagging of the tail to make sure that you haven't gone too far. You always want some space. Nice. Breathe into the back of the heart. Breathe towards the navel without any doership, just relaxing and softening. Slide the left hand back, push into it, returning into tabletop. Glide the hands forward, let the hips melt for a moment. Let all the thoughts melt out of the mind. And then push down into the shins. Slowly send the hips forward, letting one vertebra at a time stack, coming into kneeling, and then turn to face me. If you have sensitive knees and you need some extra support here, please afford yourself that opportunity, except if you're at Konalani and we have maxed out the blanket situation in the whole ashram. One of my favorite movements for waking up muscles in the hips, which is so useful for all the sitting we're doing, is balancing on one knee at a time. So I'll talk you through it. Once you've got the support that you need underneath your knee, start to shift the weight into the right, bring the arms to a soft T and hover the left knee. There are going to be wobbles because you don't have the intelligence of your foot and all the microprocessors in the foot and the ankle to help you balance. So it means all of the work is happening in the hip, trying to figure out how to balance you. If it feels really easy, you can point the left knee in different directions. You can hinge the hips a little bit. Luckily, you're close to the ground. It's okay to use the hands. Make sure you're breathing. Try breathing through the nose. And then step the left foot forward into a nice short lunge. It should feel really easy. Hip stacks right over the right knee, so not a deep lunge at all. Gently push down into the back knee. Let the front knee walk over to the left. Pause for a moment, letting the hips relax. I'm going to turn to the side. Bring one hand to the sacrum, one hand to the belly, and allow the pelvis to tip forward and back a couple of times. And then imagine trying to find the sweet spot in the middle where the pelvis is neutral, the spine is long, you still have your natural curves. Most bodies benefit from a little lift in the front of the pelvis. You can see if that feels right for you. And then relax the arms down and take a couple of breaths here. With your next inhale, gently sweep the arms up. Let the whole front of the body open. Push a little extra down into the right knee. Feel free to bend into the left knee a little bit more. It's okay for it to come past the ankle as long as the weight is in the heel. And then start to play with, imagine there's like ropes above you and you're trying to reach up and grab the rope and feel that spaciousness through the whole side body. So not just the arm, not just the rib cage, but all the way down into the knee on that back side or into the hip on the front side. Let the movement get softer and softer. If the body's craving stillness, you're welcome to pause in a side bend and breathe. You can pause in the classic back bend of Anjaneyasana. Let's all meet swayed over to the left side and release the left arm. Use an exhale to gently float the left arm, and then inhale to let it release. Repeat this a few times and try to feel how that subtle floating of the arm brightens something at your center. The next time the arm floats, you can pause right there or gently rotate, open and close, spiraling the heart up and down for shearing across the right side of the body, just getting all the layers of your muscle teams gliding against one another. And then pause at center, shift the weight back into the right knee. Last balance challenge. Notice if your balance has improved. It's okay if it hasn't, but notice if it's more fun because it's familiar. Yes, amazing. And then bring the left knee down and bring the hands to the low back. We're not really doing a camel, but I just want you to have a little bit of space in the front of the hips. So just imagine the space from the knees to the heart center, lengthening, breathe. And then we'll do the second side. So shift the weight now into the left knee, arms to a softie, start to hover the right foot, and then play here now that you know what to expect. You can keep it simple. The right toes can stay down, especially if you feel any discomfort or resistance, or if you're having fun with it, you can kick the foot out and change directions. You can try like a quarter moon and a Vera 3 and all the different orientations. If you're having fun, you're doing it right. And then set the right foot down in front of you. I really enjoy walking the right foot over to the right a little bit just for more space in the pelvis. Let the pelvis relax. One hand to sacrum, one hand to belly. Take a couple of those pelvic tilts, really gentle, but just noticing the orientation of the pelvis. Trying to find a place where the spine feels really long and there's that subtle brightening of the deep core, but no tightening, no restriction. Once you've found that place, pause there, release the arms, and then use your next inhale to lengthen the space from the left knee up into the heart. Reach the hands forward, nice and spacious. And then the ropes are conveniently still there. You can start to reach up. And then let the movement get slower and gentler. Grabbing ropes is way more exertion than I actually want anyone to be doing right now. If you find a place that feels really good, for me, it's as I sway over to the right, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to stay there. Feel free to stay there. Feel free to explore forward and back. There's no rules as long as it feels good, as long as the heart feels spacious. And we'll eventually meet over to the right. Take a moment to press evenly into front foot and back knee. So there's a lot of lift. You don't want to feel a stretch. We're not going for a stretch sensation, more support and stability. Exhale, floats the right arm. And inhale, releases. Exhale to float. And if it feels safe, try closing the eyes and notice, move really slow on that exhale float. And notice what changes at your center. If you don't notice anything, that's absolutely fine, but gaze at the center. Next time the arm floats, pause there. You can hold still, or you can gently rotate the heart down and up. And this is called shearing, and you might feel some sensations through the left side of the body. The next time you float up, pause there, shift the weight into the left knee, really soft with the elbows, let the right foot float. You can do anything you want here, and maybe that means bringing the right knee underneath you. Notice if it feels different, more comfortable, more stable. And then the knee comes below, hands to the low back, and gently drag the hands down as you push down into the knees, letting the front of the body open, breathe into that front space. And then reach the left hand forward and start to circle the left arm up and back. And again, you don't want to feel any pressure in the low back. This should feel really spacious. Call this dancing Camel. So there is spinal extension, but think more up. Don't worry about what's happening in the heels. If you find a sweet place to pause, you're welcome to do that as long as you can breathe and it feels spacious. And the next time the arm circles forward, bring the left hand to the low back and we'll switch sides. So right arm reaches forward, up and back. Try pressing down a little extra into the left knee as the right arm circles and just notice what happens as you do that. Release any idea of what this should look like, or what this should feel like. Instead, just enjoy your consciousness. And then the next time the arm circles down, you can bring the hand to the low back and ever so gently squeeze the elbows together, push down into the knees and allow the front of the body to become really spacious.